To all of you, my morning obeisances, and let's see if we can get a little less scary. All right, maybe I'm a little less scary now without the deep shadows. Hare Krishna and Kumkumdiri. Okay, well, we have a question from Kumkumdiri. Actually, yesterday evening, because I signal or telegram, one of those, which I rarely see, and then somehow it slipped off the radar, Kumkum. But Kumkum had a question. We can come to that in a moment because it's a good opportunity to answer live rather than only by sentences, as it were. So first of all, we're 4 minutes in, so I don't know about this British punctual part. Let us give obeisances to each other. We've come together. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. And Facebook is running, and a little high in the sky is Facebook. And so, who is on Facebook just now? Anukul Chandrapur, Rupa Vilas Prabhu, and others may be there that I don't know because I know I can't always see everybody. So dandavats to you all who are on Facebook too, and who will be joining us presently. And 2 chats in the chat box already on this side of the world. I have a question too. I want to check, when is the Ekadashi? Well, maybe Praneshwari can look up the Ekadashi for Rukmini Didi, and we can come to Kumkum Didi's question, which I need to find. Okay, so Kumkum Didi's question was, I'm asking about pronunciation training of Sanskrit and Bengali shlokas. I'm asking on behalf of my friend. Do you know of any classes or have other suggestions? With gratitude, Kumkum Devinasi. So one thing that I can say is, I don't know of exact classes as such, but really the pronunciation, I think as in any language, you need to hear it from the person who speaks it. Because as we know about that language called English, wherever we are in the world, then we're going to have a different version of English. So if we can find somebody who speaks the Queen's Sanskrit, as it were, or the Queen's Bengali, as it were, then from them we'll be able to get a good pronunciation. And at least we have very much, a wonderful thing, even only by itself, it would be super wonderful. We have the recording of the whole Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit by Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktisandha Govinda Maharaj. And in Bengali, well, we hear many shlokas in Bengali from Guru Maharaj, from Gurudev, from Srila Prabhupada. And if we can hear those shlokas, but then again, we can also say there's a difference between Sadhu Bhasa. There is some difference between Sadhu Bhasa and Chalti Bhasa. So my recommendation would be to hear from Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada. And this way, we'll be able to capture what are the pronunciations of K, S, A, etc. in Bengali and KSA in Sanskrit. Because and also the different S's, because remember that the Sanskrit pronunciation in Chintamani, she's studying, I think she's with us. The pronunciation goes systematically. The A, I, U is starting from the back and going forward, and the S's start from the back, the sh, they come from the back of the mouth towards the front. So how those are pronounced. And the H, when you have a word with a consonant and then an H, how that is pronounced. And even if you take a rickshaw in Navadip, this is not quite the Ramanuj story, but if you take a rickshaw in Navadip, then the rickshaw drivers will correct you if you haven't put an H where it was meant to, and after a consonant, if it's meant to be there. So really, I think that you need to go to Guru Maharaj and Gurudev to hear the pronunciation. This is really the thing. And then if you're really a student of Sanskrit and Bengali, you're going to be hearing those verses from Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, which will have more value, of course, too, than just doing grammar from a grammar book. But having said that, when you've caught the pronunciation, Gurudev many times gave his appreciation of the Harinam Vakran. Is it Harinam Vakran Chintamani? What's the name of the book?
Harinamamrita Vyakaran.
Harinam Amrita
Vyakaran.
Vyakaran. So don't come to me for pronunciation of the words. Vyakaran. And even that VY, Bapi, in Bengali and in Sanskrit, it will come out a little different. Even Krishna in Bengali will come out different. And so will taxi. It will become a tashki.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
I will let her know.
This is my suggestion. But also, from another angle, if I remember rightly, I think Revealed Truth has got in the back actually quite a comprehensive pronunciation guide. But again, it is written in a written way. So to hear is the best thing. And we know we're amongst people who've learned English in school. I mean, we're in Italy, so we're amongst people who learned English in school. And sometimes, we've got to question what's the word they're saying. Then we understand, okay, yes, they're reading it as you would expect it to be pronounced. Also, Kumkum, is it pronunciation or pronunciation? And then if we ask Sevarupadidi, they're a bit more British. They're a bit more British in English, British, whatever it may be, or British English in South Africa. But still with their own twist on things. But look at England. Look at England, such a small, even just England, don't even have to go to Scotland, which is like a completely different language of English, or Wales, or like this. Just England, it's a tiny country. Look at it on the map of the whole world. It's kind of tiny. Every corner, everywhere, different kind of evolution of the language has come. And even the Queen speaks a little Cockney. This is my impression.
Mm-hmm.
That really was my impression one day, long time ago, in Navadip. You know how the Queen gives I forget what it is, Christmas broadcast. It's very short, like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or something. This is her speech in the year. She gives a Christmas broadcast, a Christmas address to the nation, something like this. It's famous. Anyway, they had me listen to the Queen's address. Perhaps it wasn't live. When I heard her voice, I thought, she's been living in London too long. Now she's getting a Cockney accent. So what can we say about the British language or the English language? So Bengali will go happily with Guru Maharaj and Gurudev's Bengali. And their Sanskrit. I mean, both. They're Bengali and their Sanskrit. And Bengali is so sweet, such a sweet language. But Sanskrit actually, well, okay, I can say Hindi, but Hindi, when we hear it, when I hear it, it feels quite harsh, except when it's coming from Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, from our guardian section, and except when we hear it in Vrindavan. Okay, we hear the devotees speaking in Vrindavan. There are one or two. Recently, I heard a talk. Oh, it was on one of the videos of Srila Gurudev giving a Hindi talk. He was in maybe in Vrindavan, I forget, but very recently we were watching Gurudev giving a Hindi talk. From Gurudev's mouth, Hindi sounds so sweet. But normally, when you're on the train or you're hearing people speak Hindi, somehow, with all respect to the Hindi speakers, somehow it feels a little harsh, whereas Bengali is kind of very sweet. Or Sevarupa, Hindi speaker, yes? You know Hindi, Sevarupa? You don't actually, no.
No, Maharaj. And we from Tamil. Tamil, he said. Yes.
Oh, Tamil. Okay.
Yes.
Tamil Tariye. Kunjung
I
Kunjung?
also don't know Tamil.
Oh, no, I know more Tamil than you. Okay, okay. And like Chinese in Tamil, I know how to ask a donation. I mean, my Chinese is limited to asking a donation. My Tamil, a little bit more, but it's limited pretty much to asking a donation too.
I think I only know like a few, maybe if I hear it, but I know the greeting is Vanakam. But yeah, I'm not so
Vanakam, Krishna Seva Nankodai, Urulya. This is my approach for the Tamils for a donation. Vanakam, if you wish, otherwise just straight out with it. Krishna Seva Nankodai, Urulya. Hare Krishna. Then naturally they go straight to their pockets and give a donation. Maybe. Hare Krishna. Jai Shila Gurudev Shila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Shila Guru Maharaj Shila Bhakti Rakok Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai.
Yes.
And Jai Shila Prabhupada Shila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. And Bhagavan Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai.
Yeah.
And really, we cannot overemphasize any of these devotees. I mean, they're more than devotees. Any of these Paramahamsas, without whom, any of them, we will not be where we are today. We'll be lost in that whirlpool, the whirlpool of birth and death, of material aspiration and thinking that is all in all, whatever it may be. All right, so Kum Diri, that's one answer. And you can look in the back about pronunciation. You can look in the back of Revealed Truth and maybe Upadeshamritam, the big version that came out relatively recently. Look and see. It's not impossible that one has Bengali pronunciation guide and one has the Sanskrit. Anyhow, the guides are there. ISKCON books also, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the back in the glossary part, you can look and see. But again, to hear from the expert devotee, the Queen's Sanskrit, the Queen's Bengali speaker. All right, and we have a question here too from Chintamani Devidasi. I see Panashri has put the
Yes,
Ekadashi dates
just
for
Miami,
Florida,
because
right?
this was, yes, it was Rukmini who asked, so I gave her Miami.
Oh, where's Rukmini gone? She may have some service or lost her connection. It happens.
Possibly she will come back. Maharaj, I just wanted to remind you that Seva Rupa must have something in her pocket for today.
Oh,
Because
she
you
must.
asked her last time.
Okay, I did indeed, and thank you for the reminder. So Chintamani, hold your question. I'm sure you can do that for a short while. Let us come first to Seva Rupa Devidasi, because she must be going to burst with her treasure to reveal the treasure in her pocket. Kindly, Seva Rupa.
Dandavats, everyone Dandavats Maharaj. Okay, so I did prepare a little or have a look. I think it was inspired by a talk with Vishaka Didi, and it's from Sri Guru and His Grace, page 17, which is just the introduction. So would you like me to read that part and then?
Yes, please do so,
Yeah,
since we don't know by memory
okay,
what's on page 17 of Sri Guru and His Grace.
okay. Okay, let me just open that.
Govinda.
Great thing. It's getting there.
Krishna,
Okay.
Krishna, Krishna.
So it's the introduction, and it's by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, founder Charya of Sri Chaitanya Saraswati, which it says is to err is human, to err is inevitable for all, being not perfect. Still, no one wants to remain imperfect. There is an element within all that is animate that tends towards perfection. If it were not so, we would feel no want at all. Our tendency towards perfection is certainly very weak and limited. Otherwise, we could attain the goal at once. Our limited capacity and tendency for perfection makes room for the guide or guru. The imperfect is not so if it is not in need of help, and that also from beyond itself. The perfect is not perfect if he cannot assert himself or help others, and that too of his own accord. So the guidance to perfection or absolute truth is necessarily a function of the Absolute Himself and the divine agent through whom this function manifests is Sri Guru or the divine guide. And she very nicely put it is where the imperfect meets with the perfect. This is where Guru comes into play. So what my questions around it was like we hear of different types of guru, like the guru inside of you and your first guru and your guru that you received initiation or instructing. So I didn't I think just to understand how do the different gurus come into play, and when we hear about chastity, is it to work to your initiating guru or to the preaching of opera, or is it consciousness? And then is how does one be a good devotee or disciple, or what qualifies you or makes you are you considered to be a good disciple? I think that was what I brought along today. Dhanyavad.
Okay, well done. And first of all, we're very happy that you read that section, because when it's read aloud, when anything is read aloud, really it gives us a little more time or a little more focus. We're more focused on that part. And so really all of these instructions that have been given to us by our Guru Varga, called our Guru section, they're most valuable to us. And how clear, I mean, I don't know anywhere else where we get such a clear description about, where the imperfect and the perfect meet. Then here we have the relationship coming of the Guru, Krishna. Krishna is coming in the form of Guru to bring the imperfect back to the perfect world, which is his land. So first of all, we need to see that the Guru, it is the function of Krishna. Krishna himself is arranging our guidance and our instruction through Guru. And there is different gradation or different ways of seeing Guru. Gurus coming to us in different ways. And our first person who like brings us to Krishna consciousness, brings us towards our initiating gurus and the gurus in the form of the scriptures and the Guru Varga, etc. That first person, we may not hold on to them as, oh, they are my guru forever, as it were. And as in the case of Bilvamangal Thakur, he got that first like, oh, this is what I should do with my life. After his previous life being shown by Leela, no doubt in his case, that he was so attracted to a prostitute. And the prostitute said to him, if you were as keen in your service to the Lord and your eagerness for the Lord as you are for me, you would be a pure devotee, something like that. So you'd be a great devotee. So Guru Maharaj points out, it's not that Bilvamangal then kept her as his guru. He gives honor that she brought me, she gave me the slap on the cheek to wake me up to what I should be doing. But when we've come to our guru section, where we are, the relationship between disciple and guru, where we are coming to surrender, we're coming to say, yes, I've come here to learn, to get connection, and to understand what is my relationship, what is my life in service to the Lord. Then when we come in touch with the guru, then in general, we, as Guru Maharaj says, we're fortunate if our initiating guru and our Siksha Guru are one and the same, because then where everything is very harmonious in that way. But the Chaitya Guru, which is inside of us, we may or may not be able to get clear understanding and instruction, because we according to our situation in the modes of ignorance, passion and goodness, and the various coverings which are covering us, then we may be able to read some part accurately and some part we may misread and very much convince ourselves too that, oh, I'm reading it properly, but actually it is the influence of the modes of nature and our previously acquired tendencies. So the Chaitya Guru, which is inside of us, then is there. And Guru Maharaj said we can give some honor. I mean, some honor, we can give some attention there, because after all, our Chaitya Guru has brought us to Guru and Gauranga, brought us to appreciate the scriptures, brought us into this plane. But we should always try to have checks and balances. And so we have the internal guru may say something, but we should check externally. We should try to come to the manifest guru and the senior Vaishnavas to get confirmation. Am I reading properly? Should I be doing this, etc. And I was just thinking about dreams, and something we have dreams, and pure devotees have dreams, and we see many things revealed in dreams. But for us, it is good to get checks, also like that, checks and balances. And so literally, I've met people who've told me, I had a dream, and God wants me to offer him the chicken. You know, things like this. We've had it. We've had dreams of people who've given me dreams like this. And we have dreams also. And some of them we can say is auspicious. When there's guru, when there's, when we've got something which comes in our dream, which is auspicious. And actually, I had a dream last night. Paranandaru. I had a dream last night. And really, I had a dream last night in the night. And it was about a fence. And somehow or another, this was being told, do you know where like most offenses are taking place? And this kind of struck me. And it wasn't necessarily Guru Maharaj or Gurudev, it was like somehow or another, I was being told, that where like the main places where offense are taking place. And I'm trying to answer and didn't get the answer. And in the sense what I suggested, said no. And then the answer was in the cover, the cover of the books. And when I woke up, I'm thinking about that, or the cover of the books, and how Guru Maharaj told that we should not have Krishna on the cover of the book, that the book is put in many places disrespectfully. But then even after that, I was thinking after this dream that, in Bengal, they tend to cover every book with newspaper, however wonderfully, beautifully, nicely designed, gold embossed, somebody's gone to a lot of trouble to do that. The first thing they do when they get a book, they get some old newspaper and they cover the book all around with old newspaper. And anyway, I'm sidetracking here, but this is something from myself. Some dream will come and then we want to consult with the devotees and think, oh, is this right or wrong? But anyhow, on other life-changing things, or how to make the direction of our life go on, we should always try to check with the outside guru, the manifest guru, as far as possible. But all is a function of Krishna to help give us good guidance to come home. And Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, don't forget, Krishna and Radharani. And this is the age of Mahaprabhu, and he's given everything very simply, and in the sense of have faith in the holy name, chant the holy name without offense, associate with devotees, serve the devotees. Or summarized, 6 words: chant Hare Krishna and be happy. 6 words. So let's not make life too complicated. We had a question yesterday, very complicated question, very heavy thinking question came. And then we were debating the answer, and then one suggestion came up. We can answer this in 4 words. Stop thinking, do savor. And after so much debate amongst us about the question, about, okay, how would you answer? How would you answer? Informally, we were addressing this without saying who asked the question, because it could come from many sources. But we're not, saying anything about who asked the question. They're asking the question because sometimes things stay in people's minds, and if only I knew the answer to this, then I'll be a peaceful devotee. But guess what? Always another question comes up afterwards. Unless it's a bit cold to say this, but stop thinking, do service. But in a way, it does summarize the question. Hare Krishna. So the different forms of guru. Yes, all is coming in this category, coming to bring the imperfect, to fulfill the hankering of the imperfect for perfection. And all is by the grace of the Lord. So the grace of the Lord coming through the devotees, the grace of Krishna, we can say, there Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita to approach the Guru. But there is Krishna as Mahaprabhu, as Vaishnava, as Guru himself. Then he is distributing Krishna consciousness. He is distributing the holy name and making it all extremely simple and straightforward, giving us direct instruction. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, all of our Guru Varga. And so chastity. So what does it mean? Chastity to the Guru. We are clear that everything we will get from Guru Maharaj. And how are we going to get, and everything we will get from Guru Maharaj, everything we will get from Srila Saraswati Thakur. How will we get everything from Guru Maharaj? We'll get everything from Gurudev and from Srila Prabhupada. How will we get everything of Srila Saraswati Thakur? We'll get that from Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. And so, as we can understand how to be chaste to them, chaste to their teachings, we will follow that very nicely. And everybody in this world who really is our well-wisher, they must point to them as this is our shelter. We are pointing to them. That is everything. There is everything. And we will be chaste in this firm shelter, the fathership of Srila Saraswati Thakur, fathership of Guru Maharaj, Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada. And as a disciple, how to be a good disciple, surrender and serve. And that service we can do 24 hours a day, and sometimes some specific service may come. But 24 hours a day to chant Hare Krishna, be humble, tolerant, give honor to others, and be happy. Offer your food. Remember, do two things only, sometimes it's said. Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Okay, I've spoken so much. So is that giving some idea, Sevarupa?
Yes, thank you, Maharaj. Thank you.
And all of Sri Guru and his grace is wonderful. It all coming to help us to understand Sri Guru and his grace. Understand Krishna's mercy, and Krishna's mercy through Nitai Gauranga, Guru Gauranga. All right, so Paramananda Prabhu, are you ready? Chintamani Devidasi has a question, and you've been way too quiet, Paramananda Prabhu. So Chintamani Didi, let us hear it. Oh, she's got a note here. I learned from Jayadev here, my Sanskrit teacher. Oh yes, I learned from Jayadev here, my Sanskrit teacher.
The Jayadev.
Huh?
If you learn from the Jayadev, he is an excellent teacher. Meaning Jayadev Goswami.
No, she's only learned from Jayadev Das, and I'm not even a good dasa of Jayadev, because how could I actually serve Sri Jayadev Goswami? He's so
there
far
is some
beyond my
connection, Prabhu.
No. Yeah, connection. Turn our video off.
So Chintamani, your question.
How's our connection now?
Without an echo, it's better. We had a little echo just now. Without an echo, yes.
Okay. Thank you. We have sound and data issues and all kinds of things. I have all kinds of issues.
Anyways, what's the question?
My question is, we had to make the decision. I was telling Pranashri and Sevarupa Didis and Kumkum Didi before you came on about when you have the option of a live Zoom gathering with you, or you have an option of in person with other Vaishnavas whose conceptions maybe, I don't know. So what's the right thing to do?
Well, I mean, with you meaning Madhusudan Maharaj, obviously. So the choice has to be very on everybody.
That's the questionable part. What she's mentioning.
Right. Well, that's an obvious choice. Maharaj just mentioned, and really this morning I was listening while I was making a breakfast. I usually listen to Srila Gurudev, and again, again and again, he's stressing the importance of loyalty and chastity. He said these two things come first. Affection, love, they will follow, but they will never follow if you don't have chastity and loyalty to your spiritual master. He said, to your spiritual master, to the religion of Mahaprabhu, to the practice of that. Means, first of all, you have to be sincere to yourself. You have to make a decision inside. What is your choice? I mean, we cannot be a prostitute. A prostitute sees different men every day. So it's not our behavior. We have to be chaste. Like, there's so many wonderful examples of chaste wives. Sita is a beautiful example, and so many. So they're always loyal to their husband. So if we made that step, we said, yes, please accept me as your student. We have to make that commitment. Without that commitment, there is no connection. And it is confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Diksha kale, bhakta kare, atma samarpan. It said the diksha become valid, the connection become valid only when there is atma samarpan, or full surrender. And full surrender, first of all, how you can surrender fully if you don't chaste and loyal? It's impossible since the very beginning. So we have to give up everything else and just surrender to the lotus feet of the spiritual master. There are so many other evidences. Maharaja Kulashekar, he is a great, and by the way, Sevarupa, he is your great, great, great ancestor. He is from Tamil Nadu, one of the Alvars. So he is saying, Tyajantu bandavo sarve, nirdantu gurave jana, tatapi paramananda govinda mama jivanam. He said, I may lose everything in my life, friends, teachers, everyone will turn away from me. But regardless of what they're thinking, what they're saying, I will always remain a surrendered soul at the lotus feet of Govinda. He will be my heart and soul. A similar verse for Prabodhananda Saraswati. Tatat vyakyantu sastrani, tatat yatat vadantu something. I forgot the verse, but anyhow, so he's saying the Vedas can say something, whatever they want to say. They're saying so many things. The commentators, they can explain it in so many different ways. I don't care what they say. My heart is sold to Mahaprabhu. He is always in my heart. So this is his answer. Yatat vadantu sastrani, yatat vyakyantu tarkika, tatat. Anyhow, I will remember that verse soon. So the main point is what they're saying. Full loyalty and unconditional surrender, no conditions whatsoever. We have to put Krishna interest, Guru, Vaishnava interest in the center of our lives. So Srila Gurudev in that talk, he is saying, this is the only way to get rid of our ego, ahankara, the world of illusion. We are in the world of illusion, and we happen to carry our own world of illusion. Gurudev said it's not a small thing. Ahankara is not a tiny thing. It's a universe. That's why it's so difficult to overcome. So he said, by replacing your interest with interest of Krishna and Guru, that will be accomplished. Otherwise, it is impossible. There's a famous verse, Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatam aham vande Shri Gurun dina taranam. This is about that. A lame person can cross the mountain. What kind of mountain they're talking about? The mountain of our ego, first of all. It's not a mountain, like actual mountain. And yes, if Guru tells you you can climb Everest and come back, you'll probably be able to do that. But really, ahankara is much bigger, much vast than Everest. So this is our condition. And we have to improve it. We have to become loyal. We have to become chaste. And then something will enter. Everything else will follow. This is Gurudev. In a private conversation, I'm just conversing with Gurudev, and he is asking my advice about one devotee. And sometimes we have to do it according to seven necessities. It's not about criticism, not about saying bad things, but we have to say true in front of your spiritual master. When he is asking, you tell him true. This is what happened. This is what this person is doing. And Gurudev, you decide. So when I pointed out several things, they were pretty heavy. That person was a drug addict, continued taking drugs heavily, and other things. And he was to be appointed to some very, responsible, important position in our mission. And I just let it in front of Gurudev. I just put it in front of him without commenting, without giving my opinions or anything. He said, Prabhu, these are all small things. And how is that small, Gurudev? You get a drug addict, like heavy drug addict, who ends up in the hospital every other day. How is that small? And Gurudev said, these are all passing things. His main disqualification is he is not loyal to me. That's it. He is disqualified. He said, but if he is loyal to me, these addictions, bad habits, they will go away. Just give it the time. So that was Gurudev's point. Be loyal to me, and I guarantee I can take you to the lotus feet of the Lord. That's Gurudev's promise. Another saying of Gurudev, again, I heard it right in front of him, while sitting in front of him. I travel the world. I give so many beads to so many people. How many of them are my disciples? I do not know. Again, we come to the same point. It's not about receiving the beads and I got a nice name. Okay, let's just party. Let's go here, let's go there. That monastery, this guy is really good. That New Age guru is fantastic. Oh, this Vaishnava is so wonderful and he's talking about Krishna. That Vaishnava is talking about Krishna. Not that kind of behavior. So we have to be exclusively devoted to the lotus feet of our spiritual master, to the lotus feet of our Guru Varga, to the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. So that's the point. And in that connection, considering the first question of Kumkum Didi on behalf of her friend, Gurudev gave us continuous warnings. And I understand a devotee is asking about pronunciation, proper pronunciation. Maharaj gave perfect answer, nothing to add to that, except that Srila Gurudev said once. He said, actually, I haven't met many people who can pronounce Sanskrit perfectly. I knew one man in Calcutta, he said, long time ago, a Paka Sanskrit scholar, he said. But of course, the best Sanskrit pronunciation I heard from guess who? Srila Guru Maharaj. And then at the end, Srila Gurudev said, and I am not so bad, because I learned from Srila Guru Maharaj. But also we have to be careful. Once you start going that way, you may also hit the point of no return. And Srila Gurudev warned us, do not, there is no bhakti, no devotion in learning the language. If you think you can understand Krishna consciousness more by learning Sanskrit or Bengali, wrong idea. In fact, deadly for your devotion. And we've seen so many devotees going that way. None of them, and I've seen many in my lifetime, none of them return. But we've seen devotees like Prabhupada disciples and Kumkum Didi, you probably know quite a few of them, like Gopi Paranatana Prabhu. They were Sanskritists or Sanskritologists when they came to the lotus feet of Prabhupada. And then they used their talents and their ability in the service under the guidance and under the shelter of the Vaishnava. That came out well. But those who decided, oh, I should learn Bengali, I should learn Sanskrit so I can understand our Goswami scriptures in a better way, what Jiva Goswami actually said, because I think, other devotees, my guru is not getting it right. It will come to that point and then your faith is lost and there is no return. That's the danger of that. So we have to remember, and Srila Gurudev warns us repeatedly, there is no necessity in studying scripture for the sadhaka. The most important is chanting the holy name and doing seva. But, he adds, if for the service necessity, it is necessary to study the Shastra, then you must do it with the blessings and instructions and under the guidance of your spiritual master. That's why Maharaj's answer was perfect. So if you really want to know pronunciation, listen to Gurudev, listen to Guru Maharaj. And again, this is another example of loyalty and chastity. Anything in our life, we will run by them. And also Madhusudan Maharaj. If you want to learn Bengali, here you go, Madhusudan Maharaj. He got it from Guru Maharaj and Gurudev. According to the seven necessities, his Bengali is not just blah, 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 blah. It's a Seva Bengali. Whatever is necessary, it's already there. It's all approved. It's stamped. The certificate is already there. And by the way, Maharaj knows I'm a horrible Bengali speaker.
If my Bengali is Seva Bengali, it's so that I can buy the commodities in the market when necessary for the temple.
Oh, Maharaj, by your grace, we can see when we're reading Chaitanya Charitamrita and trying to present different words, because really English is a very simple language. I apologize to all the English speakers. Russian is very complex. Sanskrit, probably the most complex language. So it's Bengali is pretty complex. Then Gurudev said many times, in English, I cannot express the true meaning of this Bengali or this Sanskrit word. It's so deep, it's so vast, it's so wide. It's impossible. But when Maharaj was trying to explain word by word, and we're reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bengali verses, and it's all word by word, it's really, it's just come to you in a different way, from a different angle.
But we are reading those verses with the translation. Always we've got Srila Prabhupada's translation there to keep us so we don't misunderstand. Because when we know partially anything, then we know that we can understand and we can misunderstand. So that is there. But yes, and something came in my mind, but I forgot now. Hare Krishna. Oh, I know what came in my mind. Shruta Shravar Prabhu, Vaishnava Maharaj is like very strong statement. And he's been around since the very early days of ISKCON. And he said, and really, he's observant, and he said, every single one to the last man who went to study Sanskrit, then they went off in their own way, like everyone. And Shruta, very strong. He may have used some other words in there, which we won't say, but very strong and meaning it. I mean, he's not just saying it. But Shruta himself, he knew some of the words, like we know some of the words, but then to go into the whole grammar and this, that, and the other. And we just were reading, or still are reading in the morning program here, the section about Keshava Kashmiri coming to challenge Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu, the perfect gentleman. It's on the full moon evening, full moon night on the banks of the Ganges in Navadip, and we can just feel the cool air coming from the Ganges. We can feel all the atmosphere. Mahaprabhu is with so many students, and then Keshava Kashmiri comes along. And anyhow, you all know the story of Keshava Kashmiri, but Mahaprabhu was the true mischievous gentleman. He's a true gentleman, but mischievous. Because remember, he was still young, and Keshava Kashmiri, no doubt, was a little bit, senior person. But there in the commentary, and remember, Srila Prabhupada's commentaries are based on Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's commentaries. Srila Prabhupada is giving an explanation about just to get something about getting the basics of the Sanskrit language takes 12 years of intense study. So, and this is he's explaining about the different, like Mahaprabhu, the Keshava Kashmiri was accusing Mahaprabhu. You only know this small part. I don't remember the official name of it. But then in the purports is mentioning about 12 years of like focused, intense study. And then if you're a brilliant student, you might have got, from then you can start now to look at something. So, how many of us on our evening class for a year are going to pick up Sanskrit properly? But everything's been given to us by our wonderful masters and in English, and here we're all English speakers. And this is why English is good to learn, actually, for those who don't know English, because we get as closely as possible, we're getting from the mouth of Guru Maharaj, Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada. We're getting through the English medium, the teachings of Mahaprabhu, not only the teachings, the conceptions. And Gurudev told that Guru Maharaj was telling in English what he's not telling in Bengali, except in a closed circle of Bhaktisaranga Goswami Maharaj and one or two others. Like in a closed circle, they would have some discussions. Srila Prabhupada, for instance, but not in a public gathering. But to the Western world, in English, he expressed things which he was not expressing in Bengali. So we mustn't also start to think, oh, we'll find out those secret things that Guru Maharaj only gave in Bengali to the locals. Gurudev was already told. He's expressing these secrets. And one of those secrets was the meaning of the Gayatri Mantra. And Guru Maharaj, Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj saying, to Guru Maharaj, telling this in English to us fallen soul section. Gurudev said to Guru Maharaj, you are giving this out openly, but this is confidential. We know that the Gayatri Mantra is a confidential mantra. And Guru Maharaj told, and everything, I mean, of course, Gurudev saying this, not in criticism, he's like asking Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, he's amazed, actually. Gurudev is amazed. Guru Maharaj is like expressing these things so openly. And Guru Maharaj said, and if I don't give it, then who will give it? Maybe somebody will give it. But like when Narada Muni told to Veda Vyas, you need to give the conclusion of the Vedas. If maybe in the future somebody else can give it, but they won't be universally accepted. But you are Veda Vyas. You need to give that conclusion. And hence came Srimad Bhagavatam. And Guru Maharaj, he knows who he is. And independent of that, like as a third person, he said that, yes, but I need to, if I don't give it, who will give this in the future? And who will give that recognition that it is the fact? So Guru Maharaj gave these secrets to the world. And when we hear Goswami Maharaj's talks, we're reminded that so many of the expressions that we hear in our devotional service life, in our like Hari Katha, and we are discussing, so many of these expressions, they're actually very exclusive, original expressions of Guru Maharaj. Search for Sri Krishna, reality, the beautiful, and plus, and so many things which have come out. Hare Krishna. Haribo, Govinda Govinda. Our Ukrainian Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Oh, it's the gardening crew. They're coming to render savor in the garden. Govinda Farm. Jai.
Preparing rice for planting, Maharaj.
Huh? What are they doing?
You see the rice here?
Brown, very brown.
Yes. So we're going to sprout the rice.
Aha. Very smart. Dandavat, Dandavat. Jai. Well, these skills, learning life skills in devotional service, wonderful. Oh, many devotees.
But some devotees are saying, maybe we shouldn't eat rice because it's so difficult to plant.
Hare Krishna. Bamboo trees, blue skies, oh, and white clouds. White clouds, blue skies. There's the blue sky part. Jai. But I thought Aniruddha and Ganga Devirasi were going back to Ukraine. No.
No, Maharaj, they're staying. Everybody's
Yes.
still here. Few
Okay.
devotees left, but most of the devotees are staying.
All right. Okay. Wonderful. So we've got our Ukraine connection in Thailand
So
too.
they're honing their survival skills, learning how to survive in case something happens and they will have to plant their own rice.
Then they're going to become fruitarians, right? Because the rice is so troublesome to plant. Hare Krishna. Yes. Kumkum Didi, this week we didn't give you a chance. Well, we had your question. Kumkum Didi, a few words from us, please. A few words from you, please, for us.
I gained so much from hearing this discussion, which seems more like a pragmatic, am I pronouncing things correctly? But the depth with which it was answered is so helpful. And I'm sure she'll be extremely happy. Some people, she hasn't been around Devotee Association in 10 years until recently. And some people worry that they're unqualified in ways that in great association we learned are not significant. They are still beloved. We're still very glad for them to come. And so I'll be able to relate this conception to her. She'll see that her treasure is already there. She is a disciple of Srila Guru Maharaj.
Jai.
And received that from him in Navadvip Dham. So it's making me very happy to think how fulfilled she will be to get this understanding.
Jai. And many things we covered today in starting off with this, and many things covered today.
And also we have a couple of guests at the ashram right now. They're out and they're friends of Chintamani. And her name is Durga and her husband is here. They're just staying for a few days while they're looking for a different domicile. However, they've been doing great service, really very good service. They're very harmonious, even though their purpose is not to join the ashram, but I can't believe how much cleaner things are already. Both of them working very hard. So they're very welcome to be here, attending our teaks.
Jai. Hare Krishna.
I would like to hear briefly, at least, about the event in the Villa Govinda participated. Was it a couple of days ago? It was outside.
Okay, yesterday evening's event. Yes, we went to a Oriental Day holistic festival. And now Italy, at least, how long we do not know, but it is opened up. And so outdoors, we don't have to wear a mask anymore. People can see who we are. And yesterday we went to this festival, one of the first festivals maybe taking place. And Krishnakanta Munindra, they've been there year after year, but basically doing cooking and getting a brief time on the stage. But this year they told the man Alberto, they said, this year we're not going to do the cooking. It's so hard work until late in the night because they don't go to bed early and get up early. They're not so holistic. The festival goers, and they did have a band which came on after us, which was debatably Oriental. We got to say that. Anyway, so we had a good audience and we had the mic and like the whole But I thought it was only that, like, those people who were seated in the chairs in front of us, but then actually found out that it was going over the whole of the festival area was the discourse. The kirtan and the discourse went not only those who were in front. So, I mean, we had a big audience, and who hears, we don't know. And yes, every preaching opportunity. It was a public preaching program. And again, this evening, the part 2 of yesterday. So, let's see who will come back. And some said, yes, they will. And so we'll see who comes back. And any opportunity to preach. And then afterwards, as we like to, when it's a possibility, and there we had a good possibility, we invited anybody who wants to come, ask questions, come and mingle with us, ask informally, don't be shy, because we had our allotted time. We had 1 hour, like an allotted 1 hour. But then after that, we had all the questions and the social things. And coming from the holistic, Oriental interested group. So we had like pseudo-holistic, I do not know, and this new age, and people calling themselves new age, is kind of, isn't it a little old age calling yourself new age now? Don't you have to come up with something actually new age? This all sounds very old age to me. So anyway, the only thing that's eternally fresh is devotional service. We introduced Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, we introduced our masters, the scriptures, the treasure of the East, and what else can we say? There are so many ways to introduce, and tried to introduce suitably for them, and for the Maha Mantra and so many things. And afterwards, people came to us, and to each of us. So we were maybe 8 devotees, because we were met there by devotees from Monza, etc. And we had Rituraj, good mridanga player. So we were able to have short kirtan at the beginning, short kirtan at the end, and the middle, the discourse, and afterwards informal questions and answers. So the physical presence in programs is also important. And this was a good program. And in the meantime, Jaya Shri and Keshavananda Prabhu, they were sitting right where I'm sitting now, and they continued the Zoom programs, which now come up regularly. So we had Jaya Shri and Keshavananda probably doing a better job than me, keeping our Brazilian devotees and non-devotees, I mean devotees and sincere seekers, nourished. So everything is good. And today we're going back in the evening program today. And we also do here in the afternoon, doing here the kirtan, here itself in the garden beside the kiosk. And it's good because that kirtan reaches this whole village. Everybody can hear the kartals, mridanga. How much they hear the Hare Krishna part, I don't know. But it's a very quiet village. Yeah. So good, somebody makes a bit of noise, but Krishna noise better than, thankfully they don't play like in Bengal where you get those giant loudspeakers blasting out Bollywood music. Then thankfully we don't get that here, but they may think we are blasting out some other music, but let it be, we are chanting Hare Krishna. Okay, oh, good devotees, thank you all for being with us. And yes, Praneshri Didi, we didn't give you a squeak at all today. You'll have to remind me on our next one that, we said to Praneshri Didi, you bring something in your pocket and as a contribution.
No, Maharaj, no, Maharaj. I'm raising my hand.
Make them sound next time, first time. Yeah.
I'm raising my hand because you have dandavats from Bharachandra Prabhu, Swarnangi Didi in Sokel, Magadhari Devi Dasi in Oregon,
Dandavat.
Purushottam Prabhu in Purushottam Prabhu in Salt Lake City, and Krishna Kanti in Sokel.
Jai, Dandavat to each of you, and wonderful having you with us as always. And I think you meant Purushottam Prabhu Brahmachari.
Brahmachari, yes.
Our recent brahmachari, one of our two recent brahmacharis in Salt Lake City, the other one being Ramasunda Prabhu. Ramasunda Prabhu, young, and Purushottam Prabhu is mature student. Really, to shows we don't have to be, it's not a matter of age, it's a matter of heart and sincerity. And to all of you, yes, on Facebook, obeisances to those we just heard from, to those who may be also with us on Facebook, on the Zoom, seeing the recordings later. Thank you for being with us. And we do know that we have other devotees join and happily having your association. And I hope that you're able to get something, some nourishment to continue your devotional life, positive and progressive immortality. What kind of a life we aspire for. This. Hare Krishna. Who is in the car with Paramananda Prabhu?
ดังๆหน่อยนะ
พูดดังๆลูกสวัสดีนะคะ
Oh, something happened.
She said Sabasdi Kap.
Oh, it's Tavan's daughter. She's growing up. Such a big girl. Quickly growing up. Astika. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. All right. So with the traditional Thai greeting, let us also end with our traditional Ki Jais to wonderful Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai to Srila Guru Maharaj, wonderful Srila Bhakti Rokhok Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupanuga Guru Vaga Ki Jai. Vishvarenya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. All the present day Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Brinda Ki Jai. All the assembled exalted devotees, and really exalted, so many exalted devotees, all are exalted devotees I see on the Facebook and on Zoom. To all of you, Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari. Pancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha. Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. And Dandavat and best wishes, good wishes to each of you, and we meet again soon.